Gautam Buddha, a master of spiritual wisdom, once made a typical choice to instruct or guide a group of young boys. This became apparently an uncommon decision, not driven by exclusion, but by a desire to challenge its common norms and unveil valuable lessons that cut across time and boundaries. In this brief exploration, we unravel the inspiration behind breaking barriers, Gautam Buddha's motivation for boys only. Gautam Buddha, whose teachings have traveled across centuries, leaving an impact on millions around the world. A chapter of his life emerges, a purposeful decision to initially convey his wisdom to a group of young boys. This choice, being founded on gender discrimination, and it was a strategic effort to challenge and reform social norms, with the aim of bringing up a more enlightened world. In the history of Gautam Buddha's existence, the society was established in rigid gender roles and ordered divisions. Women were often put down to household chores, while men enjoyed greater access to education and spiritual knowledge. The Buddha's decision to start his teachings with young boys was done to challenge these social norms. The selection of young boys was not based on gender, rather it was a strategy that aimed to take apart the existing barriers to spiritual knowledge. By starting with young boys, the Buddha started to lay the foundation of understanding wisdom among the youth. These young boys would become mature enough to become the future leaders, scholars, influencers of society, etc. This approach has started to change the power of education and the importance of transforming societal limitation. It made us realize Gautam Buddha's commitment towards fullness and compassion. His teachings were accessible to all, but the choice to start with boys was a means of challenging the societal divisions. At the heart of Gautam Buddha, these teachings were designed to liberate the individuals from the cycle of suffering, compassion, and wisdom, and to make a more harmonious society. As the young boys consume the Buddha's wisdom, they not only take the teachings, but also become the carriers of a message that would be able to change the world. They were given the noble task of spreading Buddha's wisdom without discrimination, without breaking down historical barriers that had the access to spiritual knowledge. The Buddha was a revolutionary thinker, and his teachings were creative in a society that has diverse traditions and norms. By the start of his teachings with young boys, he started to balance the need to function within the limits or borders of his time, with the main motive of expanding those boundaries. The decision to teach boys added an effect that would gradually transform the society. As these young boys started to specialize in the teachings, they not only understood the wisdom and compassion in Buddhism, but also carried forward this knowledge into adulthood. Gautam Buddha's approach has the potential to change the education system. It is a recognition that education is not only about passing on the knowledge, rather it's about giving a sense of responsibility. The young boys who absorb or consume his teachings have to ensure that it reaches every corner of society. This strategic approach by the Buddha is not limited to history's records, where barriers rooted in gender, class, and other factors persist. It serves as a reminder that challenging societal norms is a refined approach. Empowering the youth with knowledge and wisdom sets the stage for societal changes, as the young possess the potential to shape the future and will challenge the existing norms. Gautam Buddha's approach has the potential to change the education system. It is a recognition that education is not only about passing on the knowledge, rather it's about giving a sense of responsibility. The young boys who absorb or consume his teachings have to ensure that it reaches every corner of society. This strategic approach by the Buddha is not limited to history's records, where barriers rooted in gender, class, and other factors persist. It serves as a reminder that challenging societal norms is a refined approach. Empowering the youth with knowledge and wisdom sets the stage for societal changes, as the young possess the potential to shape the future and will challenge the existing norms. Gautam Buddha's choice to commence his teachings with young boys was not an act of keeping out, but an effort to confront societal norms and build an inclusive world. It was a strategic move to ensure the spreading or circulation of his wisdom to all areas of society. It will thereby block the barriers that had historically restricted the access to spiritual knowledge. In conclusion, Gautam Buddha's choice to teach young boys was not an act of discrimination, rather it was a calculated effort to challenge the societal norms. This strategic approach transforms the power of education and the major role that the youth play in reshaping society. It serves as a timeless reminder of the importance of breaking down barriers. Gautam Buddha's teachings continue to offer guidance and wisdom that transforms time and boundaries for all who seek the path to enlightenment. Subscribe for exclusive content. Be part of the journey of Gautam Buddha's teachings. Stay tuned.